And after I was a counselor at Freshman Conference, then the year after that, I was co-chair of that.
Okay.
With the way they did it then, there was one YMCA person and one YWCA person. So, yeah, so I was co-chair. And during that 68 Freshman Conference was when there was the quote-unquote riot at the student union when the 500 new black students, African American students, started at the university, and we had several of them come to the freshman conference. So meantime, some of their colleagues were being arrested back at the union, so that was the whole thing.
Wow.
So then a group of us started a program later that fall called White on White. Wow. And we got some movies. We did a Bill Cosby movie about Black History, Lost, Stolen, or Strayed, I think it was called. We took those around to dorms and showed them. And then I can't remember where we went with that after that, but anyway, that was another thing. Yeah, yeah. And then after that, then I was involved in the student cabinet, and I was on the board of directors, it was called at that point, for a couple of years. And then I was applying for conscientious objector status, and I was turned down at first by my local draft board, but there was a long period before the second time they turned me down the second time, and meantime we arranged for the Y to hire me to work for alternative service here, and there was no guarantee that my draft board would accept it. I was working 2/3 here and 1/3 for McKinley Foundation, and so I went ahead and started, hoping that I would. So the state board approved my status, and then it was virtually a miracle. My local board approved me to stay here, and I was already working here. So
I think people forget what it was like when people were being drafted.
Yeah, it was pretty tense.
Yeah.
It was rather tense. And I wasn't sure what I would have done if they had turned it down, whether I would have gone to Canada or gone to jail. I never really had decided.
And so was the Y highly active in that
Oh yeah,
work?
Yeah. The draft counseling office was upstairs, one of the offices, and then meantime I had gotten involved in some of the anti-war demonstrations, and the Y was pretty heavily involved in that at the time also. And then right towards just before I started as a staff person, myself and some others organized a group called the Center for Nonviolent Social Change. And we did a number of things. We had weekend training events 3 or 4 times a year, which were held here at the Y. We'd have 50 people staying overnight at the Y and doing these training sessions, which was pretty exciting kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then we continued to work with the anti-war, program. The way we ended that, and I was on that staff from 70 to 72, and in the spring of 72 was when an awful lot of stuff was happening, Kent State and demonstrations all over the country, and we were trying to decide what's the most effective thing to do. And there were some groups trashing windows on campus and all kinds of violent stuff. And so we finally decided that the best thing to do would be to raise money and send a plane load of people to California to work for McGovern in the primary. Because if he won that primary, he would probably win the nomination. So that's what we did. We sent a plane load, myself included, we sent a plane load of people to California and worked for McGovern in the primary.
Wow.
And he won the primary, so it must have been because of us.
I'm sure it was.
It was just it was like a community, and it still feels that way to me. I mean, every time I come back from meetings here, it's just a great group of people, a community. And it was very much that way when I was here as a student and on the staff. Yeah.